Superstars.
If we were in the same team, Scapey, can you imagine how long would it last?
Oh, well, imagine the amount of contra you want to do. We go for cash, you go for contra.
You probably got a bit hard done by there at Winton, but, you know, let's move on. We've got places to win.
But I respect Tony and everything he says.
I'm happy with my life.
Yeah, he misses him like a dog misses fleas. Just some of the highlights from this year's V8 Superstars programs, and of course there will be another one. The final episode next Friday at the Telstra Dome in Melbourne. Tickets are available. Just call this number 038625 7444. One of the regular panellists on V8 Superstars is charged like a raging ram through the final rounds of the championship, and after an amazing three-peat on home soil, Greg Murphy is closer than ever to the title. He joins us now on RPM. Welcome, Murph.
G'day, Billy. How are you, mate?
Oh, good, thanks, mate. Now, you sure you just want to talk about motorsport today? Just want to cover that before we go any further? Just motorsport? We're restricted to that?
I don't know what you're talking about, buddy. No idea.
Well, let's talk about Pukekohe, eh? That is an extraordinary thing. There was no reason why you could not win in that particular round, but let's think about it. The odds of you winning all three races there so far in its short history is quite extraordinary.
Oh, listen, it is, and you know, all week I was over there all week doing some bits and pieces, and there was plenty of promo to do, and you know, the fans have been unbelievable in New Zealand, as we know, and to go back there this year and think of being able to do it again, I think I sort of talked myself into the scenario of it not happening, because it just seemed a little bit too good to be true to be able to win in front of that crowd in New Zealand again. Now,
I know you're not the only Kiwi in the field. In fact, on the contrary, there are plenty of good Kiwi drivers, but there was enormous pressure on you in particular, and there has been for the last couple of years at that round.
Yeah, listen, I suppose because the situation that we've been in, we've been near the front of the, well, probably be closer to the front of the field than the other guys have been in the last few years, and the pressure was certainly on to do well, and you know, we managed to do it again, which was just unbelievable, and the guys did such a great job. We went there confident, but you know, the competition's so tight, anything was possible.
Well, let's take a few steps back further. Now, before Bathurst, for example, it hadn't been an easy season for you for a number of reasons, which we'll go into. But did you really think you could be this close to winning the title at this stage?
No, mate, no, not at all. I mean, if you'd said to us probably 2-3 months ago that we'd go to the last round with a very, very good chance of maybe winning this title, I would have laughed at you, because just the way the season's panned out. But I suppose with the way the point system's been, and you know, it's worked against us, it's worked for us, and certainly at this end of the season it's working for us. It's just incredible, and we've had a really good run towards the end of the year, which we seem to be making a bit of a habit of. The last two seasons were like that too. But to obviously Sandown was a good result, and then Bathurst, fantastic result, Indy, and then New Zealand. You know, we've really come on strong, and we've managed to be on the podium all those times and be somewhere at the front of the field. So, just an unreal finish. And you know, the guys, since we got the VY, we've just been on a different path to what we were at the early part of the year.
Well, that's been one factor. We'll go into that now. At one stage, with the uncertainty over team ownership and, of course, the rule restrictions that had bound you to the problems that were happening with the Holden racing team, it looked like you'd reached a dead end in terms of car speed and development, didn't it, at one stage?
Well, we had, and we literally had, because there was all these issues with the ownership, so we weren't going testing, and we had one day in February that before the Grand Prix that we did, and that was it until 2 weeks before Sandown. So, you know, we were struggling, because we were just going through the plans and the ideas we'd already had previously the last couple of years and early in the year, and we were just changing things around to see if it made any difference. And really, with the development stopping like that, it was very hard to make any progress. But straight away when we got the VY, you know, there was definitely such a huge scope of development there we could use, and then we got a couple of test days, and the team just, you know, we really flourished, and we're able to make some good progress, and it shows, obviously.
Well, it's such a team effort, isn't it? People don't realise that beneath the surface there are so many people whose confidence is very, very important, and how they held it together to actually win Bathurst, which was a huge achievement. You must be very proud of all that.
Yeah, I am. I mean, it's been a tough year, and it's been tough on all the guys, and I've been tough on all the guys, you know. You know, we certainly know what my personality's like. So when things weren't going well, it was really difficult, and I was wanting things to change, and things couldn't change. So certainly the frustration on for all the guys was the same as it was for me, and they want to win as much as I do, and so the turnaround to go to Sandown and be as competitive as what we were there, and then Bathurst, that Bathurst weekend was certainly the highlight of my career, and will go down in history for me and for a long time. It was just superb, and the guys just deserved it so much.
Now, of course, the car's different, the ownership is different, the crew is a lot more confident, obviously, but Marcus did dominate at Eastern Creek in the previous round. In fact, forward on all 3 positions on the podium. What else needs to be different for you, if anything?
Well, a lot of things need to be different. I mean, we were there obviously with the VX earlier in the year, and I think we finished 5th or 6th overall for the weekend, which wasn't too bad. But certainly we weren't anywhere in the hunt, anywhere near what his speed was on that weekend. So the VY has come a long way since then. Although obviously our VY has only had a few races of development under its belt. So we're going there with a car that we haven't run there before. Whereas everybody else or most of the guys in the championship are all going there with the cars they ran early in the season. So certainly us arriving there on Friday and having a good day on Friday, learning some stuff about the car, or maybe being quick in the car straight away is going to be of paramount importance for us to have a really good shot at this weekend. But we're on the right side of it. The pressure is on the Stone brothers. The pressure's on Marcus to do the job. He's still leading, and the points gap's been coming down significantly over the last 3, 4, 5 race meetings. So, we're doing everything we possibly can. We've done it well so far, and we're going to go to Eastern Creek doing exactly the same thing as what we've been doing.
Can you tell us anything about your perception of what's happening to Marcus Ambrose? Is that team dropping the ball, or is it just one of those situations where they just haven't had a couple of great rounds compared to what they've done mid-season?
Listen, I reckon that's all it is. I mean, they had such a brilliant run from sort of the beginning to the middle of the season, or just after, that everyone was just expecting them to be able to do that all the way through the season. And from my point of view, I looked at them and said, well, there's no way anyone's going to touch these guys. But there has been some changes. A few of the other teams, we've caught up. We've made some big progress in the speed of our car. So HRT's caught up. There's some other teams out there that have improved. Paul Radisich has been quite strong in some races. He's running strongly. So there's been a lot of other cars that have moved up, I suppose, and got close to their pace, put a bit of pressure on, and certainly they've obviously been trying to find some extra pace and some extra speed on top of what they've already had, and maybe that hasn't come as easy as what it might have, or what they thought it might have. But really, I can't give an opinion on what's going on there. Really, I mean, it hasn't been the best last 5, 6 races for them. But listen, we're going to go to Eastern Creek, and as I say, they dominated there early in the year. I'm sure they're going to be fast, and it's going to go down to the wire. It's been a fantastic championship so far, and I reckon Eastern Creek is just going to go off.
How dangerous will Scaife be?
Well, he's always dangerous, isn't he? He's always lurking around. If he's not lurking around, he's out the front. And I mean, the HRT showed the speed that they had, and at Pookie in the last race, we probably went backwards a little bit with our car in the last race, and they went forwards, and there was just no way we were going to be able to get near them in that last race. They just did a brilliant job. So, they've probably found something with their car that we haven't, and they've moved forward, and they struggled a little bit at Eastern Creek early in the year, but I'm sure we're going to go there in a couple of weeks' time, and they're going to show the speed that they do have, and we've going to have to stay very close to Mark. If we can't beat him, we're going to have to stay very close to ensure that we stay ahead of him in the championship, and at the same time, we're going to try and we're just going to do our best job again, like we did it in New Zealand. Run strong, get some good points, run near the front of the field, and then just it's up to everybody else to see where they all end up.
Well, finally, Murph, and just briefly, will it be the kind of weekend, you've been in this situation before, where you'll actually be glancing across at other people's times a little more than you normally would, particularly, for example, the race 1 results and where it puts you in the picture, or can you not afford to do that?
I'm just going to try and play it, the way we've been doing it, and not change a game plan. There's no way you can afford to go changing things, change the way you approach the race meeting, or how you attack it, or the way you go driving. And certainly there's no way when you're on the race circuit you can go, oh, well, just won't make this move here because, I've got to think of this championship. You've got to just play your natural game, unlike what the All Blacks did last night, and do everything normally and just the way we've been doing it. That's if we want to try and win this thing. So it's really, there's so many things that we can't control. There's so many factors that are that are up in the air, and they'll all fall into place, I'm sure, on Sunday afternoon.
Well, thanks for your time, mate, and best of luck. And I know you deliberately brought that All Blacks business up right at the end when we're out of time. You're now officially more popular than the All Blacks, incidentally. Did you know that?
Actually, right now, mate, I wouldn't be surprised, to tell the truth.
Thank you very much, Merv. We'll catch up with you at Eastern Creek, of course. V8 Superstars before that. But don't forget the